Hi there. So if you're watching this video, that means you're interested in my coaching program, my one-on-one help with your business. The point of this video is to explain how it all works. What do you get? How does the payment work? How does my guarantee work? And then how to get started. Why is this different than anything you've probably tried before? Just a little bit of context about how my one-on-one coaching evolved. I actually own a paid traffic agency, which is mainly for course creators. That's my background. And the thing with running paid traffic for people, for businesses, is I realized that actually very few businesses are ready for ads. So people think that they're ready for ads. They just think, I have an offer, I want to make more money with it. Therefore, I should run Facebook ads or run YouTube ads and so on. But they come to an agency and they're like, hey, can you run my ads? I want to make more money. And actually, they don't realize in most cases that ads are just one part of the ecosystem. You need way more than just ads to make the whole thing work. But you can drive traffic into a broken funnel. It's not going to work, and it's not because the traffic didn't work. There's other things that need to be done, and that's how I started helping people, because most agencies out there, they don't do it, they don't even talk about it, because frankly, they don't really understand it. And once I started helping my clients, one-on-one, our agency clients, the results skyrocketed, everybody got a lot more out of the whole service. That's how I started with it. Now, I already knew this, like in terms of you need more than just ads. My agency is focused just on running paid traffic for people. But before I started an agency, I helped build and run a 7-figure online coaching and membership business. So I was heavily involved there in the day-to-day operations, in running the team, scaling the team, outsourcing the marketing, also doing a lot of the marketing and so on. So I already knew that it's not as simple as just switching on the Facebook ads and money will just come in. There's a lot of other stuff that needs to be done. I know that most people do not have actually systems in the background and funnels and all this sort of stuff set up. And that's where the gap was. So basically, that's the gap that the one-on-one coaching is supposed to cover. There are two parts to it. There's the strategy, right? And there's the technical implementation. If you have both parts, then you get results. Now, the tech part is actually what scares most people. That's basically what I do in the Facebook ad dashboard, which buttons do I press, how do I set up, which optimization, bidding, and stuff like this. That's actually the easy part. It's the strategy part that needs and requires lots of expertise, lots of experience, know-how, way broader knowledge of how the whole system should work and so on. And that's ironically the part which is missing when people try and get help. Like, they'll get a technical expert to do it, somebody who can push the buttons, to put it simply. But then the strategy is missing, and that's why so many people fail with agencies. They don't realize that the agency can provide the tech part, but it cannot provide a strategy, because that needs to come from you, from your business. Only then can you delegate it. My one-on-one coaching is different from the other two prevailing models that you probably know of, or you would consider when you're trying to make more money with your course. Number one is the agency. So you go out there and you hire an agency, and what happens is something that looks like this. Flash, you get a blast of traffic. Doesn't work because, frankly, your business can't handle it. Now, that's assuming that the agency knows what they're doing. I'm not going to go into the whole, sometimes shady marketing world. There are some good ones out there, but a lot of them not really. So I'm not going to go into that. The bottom line is you can get lots of traffic, and if you don't have optimized funnels, if you don't have optimized automations on the back end, if you don't monetize people and so on, this is how it's going to. When you hire an agency, you're hiring technicians. You do not get a strategist. Now, they might say you're getting a strategy. You don't. The way how the agency works is you get an account manager. Your account is being delegated to a low-level technician, because that keeps the margin for the agency up. The interest of the agency is to keep you on as a retainer and to maintain high margins. It's not necessarily to give you the best possible service, because for that, they would need to just dedicate their business to you and basically become your in-house marketing department. That's not to talk down on the agencies. I own an agency, we operate differently, but still, I own the agency. These are not bad people or anything. It's just that the model requires you to have the perfect setup. And actually, when I do work with people, once they're ready, I do suggest that you find somebody to delegate and outsource, either that your team, who's going to be doing all the sort of button pushing, or you can work with our team if you meet certain conditions, or we hire an outside agency and you either know already enough to manage them now this time effectively and you're ready for it, or I'll help you with that. Or let's say maybe you already work with an agency and I can help you manage them, and I've done this many times before. Once you know it and understand it, you can delegate it. Otherwise, you're going to miss the strategy. You're too removed from what's happening. A lot of businesses, I see that, they just think that the agency is now going to take care of it all and you don't have to be involved at all. Big mistake. You do need to be involved. You need to know what's happening. If you don't know how to effectively manage the agency, if you don't have the know-how and the experience, you will not be able to delegate it. Another problem with the agency model is that they are mostly going to be cookie cutter solutions, because that's just the nature of the model. You have to adapt to their model. They're not going to adapt to your model. The other solution that you probably tried in the past already, and I'm not saying it's a bad one, also, like, both of these solutions are fine. You just need to know how to use them. But yeah, the second solution is buying marketing courses or / business courses, painting by numbers. That's basically what you're doing. You're getting a set of instructions, and even though it makes sense on the surface, you end up with a result like this. This is the actual photo. This is the result of when you follow closely the instructions. It somehow doesn't look the same. So when you do this in the marketing world, you're not going to get very far, especially in 2023. It's very competitive. If you go out there with ads that look like this, metaphorically speaking, painting by numbers, yeah, you're not going to make it. You might learn some useful framework, but not really something that will take you very far, because you don't get real support. Nobody actually knows your business in that course, or you're a number in the system. Again, nothing wrong with it. There's a time and place for that. It's just painful and slow, basically. In my experience, courses are great for beginners. I'm a huge proponent of online education. I love it. I consume all the courses, masterminds, in all sorts of stuff. I also put my team into it, and they're great. They're cost effective for the most part until you get into the higher ticket stuff, but they're somewhat painful. And if you have more time than you have money, then courses are the way to go, because you don't have the money, you have the time, you can spend more time watching it and studying and so on. That's another hidden price of courses that people don't really discuss. But if you buy a course for, let's say, $2,000, and there's 20 hours of content in there, you paid $2,000, but now you've also paid the 20 hours that's going to take you to watch the course. If you're making, let's say, even $100 an hour, that's another $2,000 on top, right? So you basically paid $4K for it. And chances are you're probably going to have to watch it a few more times. So you probably end up spending like $10K in real value in your time and money for what you thought was a $2,000 course. Not to mention you get results like this. So that's why if you are already at a certain level and you just want to progress faster and higher, you want to do more than just courses. So why one-on-one consulting trumps both outsourcing, and why is it better? This is a little graphic to quickly illustrate. Here you're like basically on your own. You're doing 100 million different things in your business, from marketing to operations to team managing to, you're wearing lots of different hats when you're running your business. Even if you're outsourcing, even if you're hiring agencies, even if you're already doing, let's say, 7 figures or more, you look like this guy here, right? Maybe you have a supporting cast, somebody here is smashing the drum set for you, but like you're still doing all the other stuff. Now, the alternative with the consulting is you have a strategist, right? In this case, we're talking about digital marketing, social media ads, YouTube ads, Facebook ads, which is our specialty. This guy in the middle here would be your coach. Me, if you're going to work with me, let's say this would be you and this would be your team, right? So like together you design a plan, a system, and then your team implements it. Or if you don't have a team right now, that's totally fine. You can implement it yourself. Again, longer term plan, as I will explain in a couple of minutes, is for you to get a team, or maybe just an assistant, or potentially outsource it. Once you start doing some real volume and maybe add another like 20, 30, 40 or 100K to your business per month, you're probably going to want to outsource it and let somebody else do the button pushing, so you can focus on high level stuff, which we can also talk about later. So basically, the one-on-one consulting, you get a strategist, you get a fractional CMO. That means a chief marketing officer, right? Most small businesses cannot afford a full-time chief marketing officer. It will cost you a few $100,000 per year. But if you don't have one, then who's really the digital marketing expert on your team, right? Again, you cannot outsource this to an agency and expect they will do it. You need to hire for this position. The most efficient way, I argue, is with the one-on-one consulting, but you can definitely evolve and become that person for yourself, and then ideally eventually hire somebody else. So what's the framework that we will use to add the 10 to 100K a month to your sales? Okay, so it's called sales trifecta, or that's how I call it affectionately. Let's call it this way. It's optimized funnels, optimized to the very last deal, so you get the most juice out of the squeeze. Then you got your profitable ads. This is how the funnels would look like once you have ads in there. See, these are like some just practical examples, screenshots and stuff like this. And the third part is the automated and converting email frameworks. Most people just completely forget or neglect the email automations on the back end. They might have a couple of emails and that's it, really. But these are the three parts. You need ads, you need funnels, you need email automations. What's the difference between this image here on the left and these three images here on the right? Obviously, the person on the left is struggling. This person is going uphill. And these three people are all going downhill. They're working with the force of nature. This person is going up against the forces of nature. How does this apply to digital marketing? This is how you can imagine trying to run your business without social media ads. All of the social media platforms out there are now designed specifically for paid traffic. They do not give you any reach, which is this graphic here will show you what happened, for example, with Facebook, and all of the platforms are the same. Here's the Facebook's organic reach from 2011 to 2018. It went from 26% to 0.2%. In 2018, that's 5 years ago, so it's basically close to zero. You can post like crazy on Facebook, nobody's ever gonna see your post. It's just the platform is designed like this. On the other hand, this graph here is Facebook's paid traffic profits revenue. As you can see, just compare these two graphs. That tells you Facebook switched off organic reach and dialed up a paid traffic reach, which means if you wanna have a business promoted by social media, you need to pay to play. Those are the table stakes. And that's what this shows you. If you're going to try organic, you're basically this person on the left, you're struggling, you're going uphill. Why not just go along with the way the platforms are designed, speed along and reach your goals much faster. Here's the whole model basically explained in a nutshell, going through the graphics that I just showed you. You've got your one-man band here on the one axis of it. You want to go from a one-man band to an organized team of strategists. On the other hand, you want to go from somebody who's going against the grain to somebody who's actually working with the platform, who's working the way how the platforms want you to work. When you have both of these things in place, you're basically up here where you get smooth sailing, and that's why I can make a promise such as I make, and that's how I can get the great testimonials that we get for our company. So now that you understand the context, what does the roadmap for our work together look like for month number one? For one, it depends on where you currently are with your business, right? So whatever will move the needle for you fastest, that's what we'll focus on. Some people are already going to be ready to start running ads on day one. Some are going to be in need of improvement. Maybe you need to improve your funnels. Pretty much everybody will need better email frameworks and automation. Some need even more fundamental work. Maybe your whole business is a mess. Typical month number one, again, week 1 to 4, we work on the fundamentals, which means we're going to audit your past and existing ads, identify gaps, and prioritize improvements. What should you do first to get the most bang for your time and bang for your buck? How will you make the most money the fastest? We're also going to audit your existing funnels, email strategies, and automation. So you see, we're always revisiting the 3 parts of my sales trifecta framework. You got your ads, your funnels, and emails, and they all need to be perfect. And that's what we'll be working on already in week 1 to 4. We will also start running Facebook ads. We will not be running YouTube ads in the first month until Facebook is proven. Maybe there's an exceptional scenario where you're coming to me already with great setup for Facebook ads and we're already ready for YouTube, maybe, but for the most part, we're not going to be doing YouTube. It's better to prove one channel and then scale and go to YouTube and basically expand on different channels. In the first 4 weeks, we're going to set up your accounts. We're going to set up tracking. We're going to test the best offers and funnels. And we're also going to improve the funnels to improve the ROI, improve email sequences, and so on. We're probably also going to be planning a promotional calendar, if applicable, depending on your model. You might have launches, you might do regular sales, you might have specific dates that are important. Then we're also going to plan around that. But that's typically month number 1. It's going to be very busy. We get very practical and hands-on right away. Start making money as soon as you can. That means start running ads as soon as you can, organizing a promo calendar, if applicable, and so on. Beyond month number 1, it depends on what happened in month number 1. So whatever happens here, we're going to learn from it, and that's going to dictate what we should do in month number 2. Watch this video for a detailed explanation. Again, you have this document link below. This is a video that you want to watch. It's called How Fast Can You Profit from Facebook Ads. Month number 1, you should already have some profitable ads. Maybe overall, you're still not seeing profit, depending on how much we're investing and how aggressively you want to scale, and the nature of the business and the model of your business, right? For example, if you have a membership, then you need to pay upfront for the members. Obviously, you're not seeing the return yet because it takes a few months for the lifetime value to materialize in your cash flow and so on. But you will already have profitable ads. Month number 2, you should be making profits above and beyond what you're paying for ads and what you're paying for our help, or for my help in this case. Month number 3, you should have like stable campaigns which you can scale at will pretty much. And now that's ideal scenario, right? If things don't work, obviously we're troubleshooting, and I'll get to that part later. But this is typically how it goes when it's working well and nicely and what we want. Month 4 to 6, we will scale your Facebook ads. We'll perfect the backend monetization. You will likely have also a ton of new leads and new customers which are ready to be monetized. Again, this depends on specific model of your business, what your offers are and stuff like this. We will also start adding YouTube ads. And month number 6 and beyond, this is where we get into advanced strategies, which I'm not going to spend too much time on. We can test different offers and audiences if we need them for horizontal scale, whatever we can do to increase volume and increase your profit. We might start training you additional team members or adding your first team members that are able to do most of the button pushing for you, or we also store an agency. Again, it really depends on your situation, your context, your numbers, and all this sort of stuff. But basically, we're going to start getting you out of the button pushing, if not already before, right? So hopefully a lot of people will do this already before month 6, but at this point, for sure, we will have to, or we will want to, because there's other things that we want to do now beyond paid traffic. We've done now 6 months of like really steady work. We have steady campaigns. We know what we're doing. This is a great time to delegate. I tie it back to the beginning of the video. You don't want to just walk into an agent and say, here's my course, please make a lot of money for me. They'll scratch their head, put up some ads, and then you'll say it didn't work, right? No, you want to prepare the groundwork. When we do all this, after 6 months, you're going to walk into an agency. They cannot fail. As long as they know where the button to publish a campaign is in Facebook, they will not fail. And if they do, you'll know exactly why they failed, and you'll be able to tell them with me looking over your shoulder, probably. Anyway, back to the month 6 and plus, we'll be doing this. We'll be adding new team members. Then you got advanced strategies. For some of you, this will be applicable. For some of you, maybe later down the road, or maybe you're not even interested, right? But that will be acquiring existing audiences and assets that others have in your niche, in your space. Lots of people spend a lot of time building an audience or an asset, but then they don't know how to monetize it, right? So it's just sitting there. So let's say maybe they have a big Facebook group or have a course, and they're just sitting there, right? They don't know how to market them. You will now know how to market them. So you can come to them and say, hey, I'll pay you X amount of dollars, and not even upfront, but once I make some profits with it, so I'll give you a share of it. But then after a while, this is now mine, and you can grow your business this way. So you just start stacking on assets. That's, again, advanced strategies. I don't want to get too deep into that. You can form partnerships with affiliates. In fact, you should, right? Yeah, we're basically going beyond paid traffic, so that's why I don't want to spend too much time on that. You want to expand your backend. Most likely, the 90% of businesses that I talk to, they have huge potential here because, again, remember now for 6 months, we've not only acquired a ton of new leads and customers, but we also created the traffic system, which can bring you leads and customers basically on demand, right? So then the key will be like to get as much value out of them as possible. That's what we'll be working on here. We'll probably be adding more traffic channels. If applicable, some people run TikTok ads, we run Pinterest ads, LinkedIn, Twitter ads. Yeah, depends on the business. 99% of them don't really need it, but some want it. So let's say I have a client, they're big on Pinterest already. They have lots of organic followers. It just makes sense to add Pinterest ads and so on. Last thing that I want to still mention here, at this point, you can already start preparing for potential exit. That doesn't just mean simply selling the company, but at least starting to think about it, because that will force you to systemize and organize the business. So that means there are different levels of exiting the business. You're going from being in the weeds, being the one-man band, doing everything yourself, to not even owning the business. So you do this in stages. First, you delegate, you find some people to do it for you. You become the CEO more than the actual person who's doing it. Then you find maybe even a CEO, the managing of the people for you, or a project manager, or a fractional CEO, or whatever, right? But basically, we're going to start preparing for this. If this is something that you'd be interested in, some people want to sell their business. Some people do not want to do it. They just want to rather buy other business and stuff like this. Again, all of this is advanced. If this is all boring or not applicable to you, that's totally fine. I just wanted to mention that is something that we are exploring further down in the relationship. Point number 5, how coaching process looks like in practice. We will meet once a week via Zoom for up to 1 hour. Normally it's 45 minutes, it goes up to 1 hour. Sometimes it's shorter if we can get things done in a short amount of time. We will review the results, the work that you've done, what needs to be done, and so on. Calls are recorded. You can share it with your team. You can rewatch it later. You will have a client sheet. You will get trackers for tracking results, funnels, and so on. In between the calls, you do have ad hoc support. Now, that's just for emergencies and important stuff that can't wait. So it's not just, hey, I had this idea, let's shoot an email over. No, you should just collect it all in your client sheet, and then we talk about it on the calls so that we have an organized and efficient system of working rather than sending emails back and forth all the time. How do the Zoom coaching calls look like? First of all, I linked here a YouTube playlist. Click here, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. You will see about 20 very short clips, 30 seconds, 1-minute clips. We're sharing screens, we're logging into the platforms, we're debating specific things about their business, stuff like this. You'll get, I think, like a good feel for it. So just click here, watch a few of them, and you'll get it. But basically, we're sharing screen via Zoom, going into the nitty-gritty, and that's why the one-on-one is so great. It will adapt fluidly to your situation. So with some people, we're gonna be in your Facebook Ads Manager, creating the ads. I'm gonna say, click here, open this part, let's upload the video, and so on. Some people already know how to do this, and we'll just say, okay, create this type of campaign, create this type of campaign. These are the parameters, these are the benchmarks. So it really depends on you. Again, watch these videos, you'll probably get a good idea. For me, the ideal outcome is you make a lot of money, and then we take you to the next level, and we start doing stuff like this, which is really interesting, right? You need to believe in your product 100%. That kind of ties into your income, because in business, there's lots of moments of doubt anyway. And you might think, is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? And you need to have that certainty that like you have a good product which delivers lots of value. Because if you do have it 100%, I promise you, you will get results 100% of the time. There's just no other way. Watch my testimonials. We know what we're doing. The only unknown variable in this scenario is your product. If people love your product, you'll make money. Your involvement and available time and readiness for commitment. This is a little bit vague. It's different for everybody because it depends how efficient you are, how much you can get done in what amount of time and stuff like this. But the main point here is you cannot see this as a passive income that will just run on its own, and you will set it and forget it, and it'll just make you a lot of money, and it's just magically going to happen. That's a fantasy that's being sold by gurus out there. Hey, create a passive income and you're going to sleep and you're going to make all this money. This is not how this works. It just is passive. There's only one way to make a passive income. Even that's not really passive. Go through all of the steps that I described and more, and end up with an amazing team which runs the whole thing for you. and you have SOPs and systems and team members and people who are managing your team and so on, and you don't have to be involved on the day-to-day operations anymore. That goes back to what I said. There's 5 different exits of an entrepreneur. One of them is you're no longer in the weeds. You're either the board or maybe you're just a shareholder. Yes, then it's passive. If you just own the business, you're not working on it, that's passive. But most likely you're watching this video, this is not where you are yet. Like when people say passive, that's not actually what they imagine. What they imagine is they'll create a course, set up a couple of ads, and then chill, lean back, and the money will just come in at incredible. You'll just make 10K, 20K, 30K a month and so on. I'm spending a little bit more time on this. That's really important. You need to be willing to do the stuff. This requires effort, requires commitment. I'm only interested and I really get a lot of pleasure in working on your business with you together. That's why I'm still doing this one-on-one, even though everybody's telling me I should just be doing it in the group version, but I do enjoy it. But you need to be active in it, and you need to also have the drive and the motivation and so on. Yeah, that's what I want to say. It's not like you just show up on the call, we talk for an hour, and then like you don't do anything, and then you show up next week on the call again, and nothing was done. Then this is not going to work. You're going to have to do things. You're going to have to manage the stuff on the back end, whatever we talk about that needs to get done. Maybe a funnel needs to be tweaked, or maybe things need to be changed and so on. You're going to have to do that sort of stuff at least 10 hours. And the more the better, obviously, because you're just going to get better and faster results. So anyway, the point is you need to have the time. Don't expect it to come easy, but you need to be also easy to work with, whatever that means to you. I'll just leave it at that. But easy to work with. I enjoy working one-on-one with people. That means we spend a lot of time together. Every week there's a call. We talk through things and so on. Some people are not easy to work with. That's cool. I don't judge anybody. But if you feel like you're very demanding and you need somebody to boss around and stuff like this, and you're going to be bossing my team around, this is not for you at all. You're going to get kicked out right away. And I've done this in the past. Sometimes it happens. Most people are chill, especially in business, like serious about the business, but easy to work with, right? So that's all I'm going to say here. You need to have a positive attitude towards digital marketing in general. Sometimes somebody will say to me, I just hate marketing. I hate marketing. I don't like sales. I don't want to do webinars. I don't want to do anything. Can you make a lot of money for me? No thanks. So your standing ad budget, another question that I get, it depends on your track record. We will start just with Facebook ads. As a minimum, you should need at least 30 a day. Now you'll notice I'm talking in daily budgets, not in monthly budgets, because the way how I work, we adapt pretty much on a daily basis. There's no need to say, hey, let's test this thing and let's put 3K this month into it. And at the end of the month, let's see what happens. That's completely ridiculous. But that's what most agencies do. And that just goes back to the whole problem with the agency that I talked about at the beginning. You want to adapt very fast. So you put up an ad, let's say it should get you leads. If you don't get leads at a good cost after 2 or 3 days, no need to spend more money on it. Just we'll try a different angle or different ad or different lead magnet and so on, right? Same for driving sales. If there's no sales within a couple of days, yes, there's some testing and optimization needed. But if there's no traction, we're not just going to continue. So that's why I don't talk about monthly budget, because within a few days, we'll know, okay, this is a great campaign. And then it doesn't matter what the monthly budget was, because you just want to spend as much as you can, as fast as you can. It depends on your cash flow and so on. If you have a membership, there's a whole different cash flow consideration and so on. But yeah, it sounds low, maybe 30 a day. But we've scaled accounts from 30 a day to 1K a day in 1 month. I think that was the fastest scale from somebody who started as a new advertiser with $30 a day. By the end of the month, they were spending 1K a day. And we had them create another 9 accounts. On Facebook, you can have 2 business managers and 10 ad accounts. And they were all limited to 50, but we wanted to spend more money because they were making so much money that we just started creating more accounts for them. So you can scale very fast. It's not where you start, it's where you end up. So yeah, ideally you would start with something like 50 to 100 a day to get results faster. If you're already running ads, profitable ads in the past, the budget can be much higher. Again, this depends on your specific situation. If you're coming to me and you're like, hey, we're spending normally like 50K a month, but I'm having trouble scaling beyond that, obviously we're gonna start way higher. The next qualification or requirement, your team. If you do have VAs, you can bring them on the call so they can get trained as well, but only after month number 1. And that's because you need to be involved personally. If you can't be involved personally at all during month number 1, don't sign up. This is not going to be for you, because there are decisions that will need to be made that affect your entire business, that whoever runs the business needs to make those decisions. And I've had it in the past where then we just go back and forth and we just waste time. So you're going to have to be on the calls, which is great. The whole way how this model works and how your business will improve with my help is by me doing this knowledge transfer to you. So you have to be there for at least 1 month. Then you can start bringing your team, your assistants, whoever you want. They can already watch recordings before. You can share with them, no problem. If somebody's already running your ads, maybe you are working with an agency, you have somebody on your team who's running ads, great, awesome, because we can leverage their time. They're most likely a technician. We'll add a strategy part. Your ROI will increase way faster because you can leverage their time. You already have somebody doing it, so you don't have to train. So long-term goal in terms of the team is for pretty much everybody after 6 months or a little later to train and hire somebody who's going to do this, or maybe start working with an agency. Again, I'll help you do all of this. It'll be very smooth and you will love it. Now, how do I sign up? So you sign up via a Stripe payment link with a credit card. There's going to be a link on this page. You're going to click it. It's going to take you to a Stripe payment page, all secure and so on. You sign up with a credit card. It'll be a monthly subscription. There's no minimum requirement. You can quit whenever you want just by sending an email. Once you sign up, here's what happens. You'll get an email confirmation. You'll get an invoice. We'll reach out to you within 1 or 2 days, depending if it's the weekend and so on. And you will schedule your first coaching call. You will get a guide on how to set up Facebook and YouTube and Google ad accounts correctly, so we can get started right away on the first call if you already have it all set up. If you get stuck here, don't worry, just do your best and we'll finish up on the call. You will get a client sheet where you enter your sales numbers for the past 6 months, so you can already also bring that to the call. So we, again, just get the ball rolling right away. And any questions that you have, you will also enter into the sheet. So that's what happens once you sign up. What happens on call number 1? Typically, we look over your ad setup and past results. We'll talk about any upcoming important dates that you have. We'll set profit goals, short-term, long-term, and so on. And then based on all this stuff, we'll decide, okay, what's the best way to proceed? What's the best way to make money as soon as we can? We might even go live with the first ad. Done is better than perfect. So I want to start running ads as soon as possible, as long as there's a viable funnel, minimal viable ads. Let's start driving traffic, start making some sales, and keep getting leads, start learning from day one. A question that you might have: why isn't there a sales call before I sign up? Typically, when you're working with an agency or a coach, or even a high-ticket coaching program, the model is you sign up for a sales call, you go on a call, you talk to a sales rep, and then you decide if you want to buy the thing or not. Now, I don't do this. I don't do sales calls anymore. I did close to 1,000 sales calls in the past, as we all do. Right now, I just get too many applications to talk to everybody. So I have 2 choices. I can either eliminate the calls, or I can hire and manage a sales team. I choose to not hire and manage a sales team. I will simply pass on the savings onto you by giving you a better deal, right? So I could have a sales call system set up like everybody else has, and then I'll have to manage and pay a sales team, which creates additional cost in my business, which means I have to charge more for the service. Or I can skip that part, make a long video as I'm doing right now, send you the video over, tell you if you still have any questions, let me know via email and we'll resolve it that way. Now I have way more time and less cost, and I can charge you less and you get the benefit of it, right? So ask yourself, would you rather have a sales call, or would you rather have a guarantee, which I'll get to also, and a better deal, and you don't have to deal with the sales call? And actually, you have a way better way to test this whole thing. Sales calls are not a great way to make a decision, because on sales calls, again, I've done close to 1,000 of them just personally. That doesn't include my team. What happens is you will forget to ask important questions because it's live. Most people don't prepare a long list of questions. They show up there and they're like, okay, so how does this work? And then by the time you're done with the call, you start getting all these other questions and like, oh, I should have asked that. I should have asked that. Actually, I don't know everything. You cannot revisit the information. The sales calls are designed to set up an emotional decision. I'm a very good salesperson. I have a high closing rate in the sales calls, but I don't want you to decide emotionally. I want you to not make a decision in the heat of the moment. That's why I'm going to give you 7 days to decide if you want to join here or not. So you can come back here, rewatch it, think through it, talk with the significant other, whoever you need to talk to. I want you to make an informed decision before you jump into this. Because again, I'm going to be working with you one-on-one, and I have a guarantee and so on. So anyway, you can ask me any questions that you still have after this video about how things work via this email. I remove the risk by giving you the guarantee, so you don't have any risk. I'm going to get to the guarantee in a second. In the end, it's a better setup for you than having a sales call, because like I said, having a sales call would mean you paying more, you not being able to ask lots of questions because you're right there on the fly. You need to come up with all the questions, versus now you get to sit back, think through it, have a few questions, write me an email, I'll answer, and so on. And at the end of the day, it's not really that different. Underneath this video, there are 8 testimonials, which you should definitely watch before you sign up, because they're going to explain how this works and how people feel like after working with me and what it looks like. So how does the guarantee work? Simple. You have 1 month completely risk-free. That means 4 sessions. If after 4 sessions or even earlier, you think you're not getting the value for whatever reason, there's no tricks, there's no shenanigans, there's no small print, you don't like it, you don't get the value, you might even take advantage. Maybe you'll make 50K the first month and then you're like, I'm out of here and I want my money back. All right, fine. No hard feelings. Whatever the reason is, you get the money back if you want to after the 4 sessions. Once month number 1 is done, there is no more money back. At that point, it's considered you love it, you understand that it's going great. So you got 1 month to test it, right? So that means instead of a sales call where you're like looking on the outside, asking a few questions, how does it look like if I join? What's it like on the inside? I'm actually opening my door to you, risk-free, money-free basically. Now you will have to pay up front, but then you get the money back if you don't like it. So imagine if you're buying a house, You either get to stand outside the house and ask the agent, how does it look like inside? How big are the rooms? How does it feel if you sit on the couch and so on? What I'm doing is actually like telling you, why don't you just move in for 1 month, see how it feels like living in this house for the whole month. And then at the end of it, if you don't like it, no worries. It didn't cost you anything. That's the guarantee. So you got 1 month to test it out. You'll be deciding, are you getting enough value? You'll be the judge of that from your whatever value in your mind is. If you're not getting it, you can ask for your money back and we'll just end it and no hard feelings. That said, there are different forms of value or results that you can receive, right? So let's say sometimes I'm working with people who have nothing set up. They don't have funnels, but they have good potential. They're making a lot of money just by doing like maybe cold outreach or referrals and so on. And we help them set up like the entire funnel system, even the platform and everything like this, which is way more to their business because their clients might be worth 30K a pop, right? So that's value, even though maybe we didn't even get to running the ads yet, or maybe we just barely started getting the ads and they didn't actually close anybody on the ads, right? So there are different ways of value, but again, you will be the judge. I'm not gonna try to convince you after a month, hey, actually you got this and you got that and you got this part and this is worth way more. In my opinion, you will get way more no matter what happens, even if you don't make any profit in month number 1 with ads, which any other agency, like they'll tell you like 3 months minimum to even see anything. But yeah, you'll be the judge. Now the flip side, I'm also evaluating the relationship. I'm also evaluating your business. If I see during that first month that things are not really working out for whatever reason, maybe you're late to the calls, you're not showing up, maybe you don't do anything that we agree that you'll be doing, or I just don't see potential for whatever reason, I'm also going to be honest and just going to say, I don't think this is going to work out long term. I think it's better for both of us if we just do our own thing, move on, that's it. So basically, I just always want this relationship to be open, relaxed, free-flowing. If we are both getting value, we'll continue. If one side is not getting the value, then they should be free to leave. If that happens during the first month where we're all still like testing, nobody should pay for that. Actually, I will be paying for that with my time. So I'm taking the risk away from you. I'm taking all the risk on myself. That's my offer. That's how it works. Any question around this, email and I'll clear it up. So how do you know that this will work for you? Number 1, you don't. There's no guarantee that things will work a certain way in business. But past success is the best predictor of future success. That means if you are already making sales, once you improve the funnels, once you improve back-end monetization, you have profitable ads, you're just going to sell more. It's just that's how it is. That's how life and business work. Basically. So if you have past success, you'll most likely have future success. From where I'm sitting, the value is no-brainer. There's no risk. There's lots of testimonials. Yeah, that's it. And I'm taking the risk. I'm exposing myself to risk because I'm offering this guarantee, right? So if you can't make a decision in 7 days, again, no judgments. None of this ever has any judgment from my side. People have different ways and different approaches and different ways of doing business, and it's all cool. We all get to do our own thing, and that's awesome. It's just that if you don't make a decision in 7 days, I do not offer the money back guarantee after that. But if you sign up in the first 7 days, then you get a guarantee. That's it. And again, I'll explain how it works. During these 7 days, you can write to me directly with any questions, right? So now you have 7 days. You've watched this video, you have this document, you can browse through it, you'll get questions maybe popping in your head. Just write here, Yanis@onlinecourseagency.com. I'll personally get and respond to those emails. How to know if this is for you? First of all, the inability to do it on your own. If you don't know how to add another 10 to 100K a month to your business with social media ads, then you need this. It's simple as that. If you already know how to do it, then you don't need me, right? Or maybe you want to do it faster, or you want to follow a proven system and have guidance by somebody who has done that before. These are basically the 3 reasons. And the way how this is structured, my goal is not actually to sell as many as possible because it's not a course, it's not a group coaching program, it's a one-on-one consulting, which means it's fairly limited, right? I only take up until 50 people at any given time. So I want to sign up the right person and give you all the information to decide if you're that right person. Now, if you have made it this far, which means you've applied, and now you're watching the video in full, then you're probably a good fit. It's speaking to you, it's resonating, you're probably a good fit at this point, right? Which means you're only 1 step away from starting. You just click on that Stripe link, it's gonna take you to the payment page, you sign up, and then as it's explained, we're gonna automatically get notified. That's all you need to do, you just need to pay. Everything else will happen automatically. We get notifications, we'll reach out, we'll schedule the call, and send you all the beginning assets and all this sort of stuff. And that's basically it. Best case scenario, you will add the 10 to 100K a month to your bottom line in 3 to 6 months. That's the best case. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, but you got 4 weeks of free training, one-on-one. I don't want to brag too much, but I know a lot about this stuff. I'm sure I can add a lot of value to pretty much any business out there, specifically anybody who's watching this video and has applied, even if you don't get an ROI on your ads within the first 4 weeks. Both of these options, the best case scenario and the worst case scenarios, are risk-free. You get your money back either way. I made it very easy for you to sign up, to go for it. The only option that guarantees you get nothing, and I'll leave you with this little graphic here, the only option that leaves you with nothing is walking away if it's a fit for you. Again, if it's not a fit for you, then you should walk away. If it is a fit for you, then walking away, you might be like, this guy here. So what happens next? You'll get a few email reminders and SMS and stuff like this. It's all automated. I think if you reply to that, we'll still get it. But again, if you need to answer a specific question, here's my email. Another thing that I would really like you to do is watch all of the testimonials on this page. There are 8 videos here of 8 entrepreneurs. They're all minimum 6 figures, mostly multiple 6 figures and 7 figures entrepreneurs who either went for coaching with me or are still there. We have different relationships and so on. But I chose them specifically so they will give you a really good insight into what it feels like to work with me. They'll give you a better insight than talking with me one-on-one on call or with my sales rep or my sales team. That's why they're there. It's going to take you 10 minutes, really, just watch them. I could have added another 30, I could have added another 100 screenshots. I just picked these 8 because I thought they're representative, and 8 is enough, but you should watch 8 of them. Again, it's going to be under 10 minutes, so just watch them. So after this, still have a question, here's my email. One last thing, you might think, okay, who's this guy? My name is Yanis. I live in Portugal with my family. I'm not actually originally from Portugal. I'm from Slovenia, which is a tiny country, which if you're from the United States, you might know it. Luka Doncic is a famous NBA basketball player if you follow NBA at all. If not, you probably know who Melania Trump is. Whatever you think of Trump or not, I don't care about that. She was married to Trump, or I guess she still is. Whatever, she was the first lady. She's Slovenian. That's the little country that I'm from. Originally, my wife is German. My daughter is 3 years old. She was born in the UK. We got pregnant in Malta, so we live all over Europe, basically. We live the online lifestyle, the digital lifestyle, you could say it. We move every couple of years to a different country. My daughter speaks 5 languages at this point, which is going to become awkward because I only speak 2.5. But yeah, anyway, I've been helping online business owners grow for 7 years. At this point, it's already 8+ years. I grew an online course membership company to multiple 7 figures. It wasn't my company. I got a cut on it. That's why I did it. I got a percentage. I grew it. I did the marketing. I built a team. I ran the team. I did the whole thing. That's before I started this agency. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And that's why I also have a different perspective than just marketing. I'm not just a marketing guy. I actually ran a pretty big company. We were like the dominant player in the industry for a while. This is what gave me a lot of the experience. That's why I can understand an online business very well, also from the perspective of running it. Like I said, we do have it done for you, invitation only at this point. So I do own an agency. I'm not like just some guy who decided, hey, I watched a few courses, now I'm going to be a marketing coach, right? Other than that, I'm an investor and a business mentor. I'm a marketing expert, a little bit of bragging. I'm in all the masterminds, very expensive top agency owners, mentor. These are all the guys who are in my masterminds or they run the masterminds. Again, with all the biggest players out there. In other words, I take this very seriously. I didn't just learn this from a course yesterday. I've been doing this for years. I love business. I love online business. I'm still helping one-on-one. Even though everybody's telling me, hey, you should already be doing a group version of this for way more than what you're charging here for one-on-one. But for right now, I'm really enjoying it. I love diving into people's businesses. It's also part of my long-term plan, so I get a lot of experience, which gives you a chance, just to tie back, why does it matter to you? It gives you a chance to get super personalized help, which would probably cost 5 to 10 times more, because that's how much I'm paying for all these masterminds. And they're totally worth it, but all I get is like a few meetings a year. And that's in the group setting. Compared to a weekly one-on-one plus the support, yeah, I think it's great. It's a great offer, if I do say so myself. So again, please watch my client testimonials. Check out my social media. We're going to make sure they're either linked here or somewhere on the site if you want to get more of a feel for my style and so on. That's it for me. Again, this document will be linked. If you have a question, here's my email. If you feel you're a good fit, apply. Don't procrastinate. Offers might change. What's an opportunity today will not be an opportunity tomorrow. Things change. You never know. So hope to see you on the inside. And that's it for me.